Okay, going live on Facebook. I'll go ahead and hit the record button also so we can get it in the next level members area here. And then let me get my screen shared up. A second. Sorry, guys, about the time switch today. We usually do these at 2 p.m. Just had something come up. I was free at the 4 o'clock hour. Figured rather than cancel, we just hop on a couple hours later if that's okay. So the topic for today, as I mentioned at the end of yesterday's webinar, was I wanted to look at the new API Nation bridge to Thanks.io. So API Nation built a bridge to Thanks.io. So I'm going over to API Nation here. And in case you guys don't know what API Nation is, there's an API Nation link in the kvCORE marketplace, but API Nation is kind of set itself up to be, maybe we call it the Zapier of real estate, where they connect different apps together. So let's go to the apination.com site. And you can already do things like connect your Facebook lead ads, you can connect Google Contacts, and you can connect a bunch of different apps to inside real estate. So 1 second here. It looks to me like we might not be sharing my screen. Is that possible, guys? Give me 1 second. Somebody could chat for me. You can. Okay, thank you. Sorry, I had this big green border that I'm not used to seeing for some reason. That was throwing me off for sure. Okay. So API Nation, if we look at their apps and syncs right here, there's a lot of real estate stuff. Okay. So one that was recently added was Thanks.io. Full disclosure, I am a co-founder of Thanks.io. Thanks.io has been in the kvCORE marketplace for a while. But up till now, what you had to do in order to get a contact from kvCORE into Thanks.io is you had to build a hairy Zap. And you had a bunch of steps. You had to go to Zapier, get a Zapier account, and do all these steps. And I think that the way that API Nation has built this not only gives you the functionality that you had in Zapier, but it does something very interesting. And it allows you to, in a fell swoop, in one setup, pull all of your existing kvCORE leads that have an address directly into Thanks.io so that you can send direct mail. And that's what Thanks.io does. I'm assuming you guys all know that, but Thanks.io is a direct mail solution. So postcards, letters, note cards, gift cards, things like that. So I'm going to sign on in here. I'm just logged in on another machine into this account that I have. Here we go. And I'm going to show you guys how to set this up in kvCORE and how to build your first integration. And I just want to show you right here, I was able to pull in all of the leads that I had in my kvCORE account with addresses in one move. So you can see it just kind of pulled in to one Thanks.io mailing list. So I'm going to show you the actual setup of this, but then I want to show you how to make Thanks.io automatically trigger anybody who lands on this mailing list, send something out to them automatically. And I think the most common use case, it's not the only use case, but the most common use case will probably be the automated follow-up of a seller lead. So when you get somebody who looks for their house value, say on the sell page of kvCORE, right? So if I go here on kvCORE and I check the value of my property, it's not shared now? You guys are throwing me off. Okay. All right. So if you check the value of your property right here, it goes into kvCORE as a lead with a seller with an address. I just did this as an example. And you can see down at the right side, it does the listing valuation here. And then I believe you can see right up at the top left, it's going to be small on your screens. You can see that the address is appended. And then in my Thanks.io account, it just added that last person here. And it takes a few minutes. It does the poll every 10 minutes. So again, to set this up, we're going to go to the kvCORE marketplace. We are going to look for API Nation. I usually just type API. Right. You click to learn more, and you click add to kvCORE. And it's going to ask you to sync. Now, you might not see the Thanks integration directly here right now. have to get them to add that, but you can just go, oh, I'm seeing that it's not there, which is quite a bummer. But you can just go straight to API Nation for now. And I apologize, there should be a link to Thanks here, and I guess it just hasn't been added yet. But if you go directly to API Nation and create an account, you can basically use the same flow. Okay, so sorry, I should have been prepared for that. I didn't realize. So you can log in to API Nation, you go to their site, and you go to all apps here. And all you need to do is you need to pick kvCORE and Thanks. So I can pick kvCORE. And then it'll ask me what app to sync to, and then I look for Thanks. Thanks.io. And then basically the sync is to add kvCORE people to kvCORE contacts. Okay, it's asking if I want to use an existing draft. It's a pretty easy wizard to use. And you are going to notice here, they are at API Nation charging $10 a month for this bridge. So the nice thing about that is that your first 30 days are free. So if you want to use this to pull everybody in one time, you can do that and then get started billing after if you are using it heavily. Otherwise, you can just cancel, not have the $10, but you can use this to pull all your leads in if you want. So it's asking me to select an existing kvCORE account or connect. If I click connect, it just does a quick authorization. For anybody who's used API Nation before, you know it's pretty quick. It just kind of grabs your information, and then it'll ask me to connect to a Thanks.io account. And all you need to do is be logged in to your Thanks.io account. All right, so we'll just select. And then what you do right here, this is kind of the cool thing, that a unique thing that you can't really do with Zapier, is it says sync all the contacts on the first run. So very handy way, rather than messing with exporting from kvCORE, uploading everybody, you can just sync everybody right here. And then you can choose which types of leads. I just chose all when I did mine. And you can do a filter based on the source. So say you only want to do this for a source of seller leads that you're using, like street text or something like that, right? If you're just using one, you can do that one source, or you can just choose all the sources. So what I did for mine is I just chose everybody, and what API Nation did is it just went and looked for everybody in kvCORE who had an address. So it skipped all my buyer leads with no physical street addresses, and it just pulled in all the home valuations, all the seller lead ads, everything I did over the years, and zapped them onto a list, which I found to be very useful. And you can see here, it'll show you your Thanks.io mailing lists right here. Now, before you can do this step, I'm probably doing this a little out of order, you will need to make sure you have a list created in Thanks.io to send people into. So here I am in the Thanks.io dashboard. I click add list, and you can just choose really any of these. We kind of have to change, it's a little confusing way this is worded, but you could choose any of these. Just choose manually enter addresses, kvCORE list, call it, or whatever. Click save. And now you'll have that list available to map over from API Nation. So, so that's that. It's pretty basic. If you've used Zapier before, if you've used API Nation, you get it. It's just taking the one platform, in this case kvCORE, and telling it that you want to put stuff into the other platform. You really only need to choose a mailing list and types of leads. And if you want to do that first time sync, you check that box. So that's the nuts and bolts. And Zapier has some costs associated with it. $10 a month, not too bad if you are using this heavily for the convenience of not having to take a lead that you get, a seller lead, and then kind of manually put it into another system to just know this happens automatically. Seems okay and reasonable. Okay, and that's the business API Nation is in. They tend to charge you monthly for each of the bridges that you have. They have been very generous with the Inside Real Estate community in kvCORE and letting people have the Facebook bridge for free, which is very nice for sure, because the Facebook ads bridge is probably the most common case of a connection. All right, so now let's get into something fun. So let's say we are generating leads from our seller page on kvCORE. So we've got this page, we're driving traffic here, we have this link in our email signature, we're running some Facebook ads, we've got some Google ads going, right? We have a smart campaign, and on day 4 of our buyer lead campaigns, we send an email that says, hey, do you happen to own a house in the area? If you want to check the value, click here. All the things we talk about all the time. And we're getting people entering their addresses here. And we want to send, and we've got our API Nation bridge built. We know that every time somebody puts their address in here, it's going over to Thanks.io. Now let's set it up so thanks.io then mails either a postcard, a note card, or a letter that follows up with the person and reinforces the relationship. And I can say, you know, the reason thanks.io was built, it's called Thank You, because thanking your customers and leads is a really powerful way to get higher conversions. You know, we all know our own behaviors online. We'll go and we'll do something, and then the phone will ring, or the kids will scream, or the dogs will bark, right? And we'll forget the thing we were doing. And the whole idea with a product like Thanks is to say, hey, there was a little bit of an interaction with my business. The person got distracted, but now they're standing at their mailbox 5, 6, 7 days later, and here they are holding me in their hand, making a more personal touch. So let's build this out. This is my little kind of elevator pitch. Let's build this out. And what we're going to need is we're going to need to build an image template and a message template. And I think what we should send, let's send a note card today. Okay, so you can do this for postcards, you can send a letter. I'm going to do an actual note card that kind of is in a sealed envelope with some handwriting up top. This was an affiliate marketing test I did this for a buddy of mine. He wanted to do this 26k.info. Just a tangent. If you had employees, I didn't know about this thing, but if you had employees during COVID and there's like extra funds available, and it's like a employee retention tax credit. So a buddy of mine asked me what kind of a postcard he would build. That's what you're seeing on the screen. I know it's not real estate related, but if you happen to be a broker and you had employees, I'm told that brokerages might be able to do that too. Anyway, I'm gonna click on the upload a note card or gift card, and I'm actually gonna click and just design one fresh, okay? So, okay, so I'm clicking here to go to Canva. I have to log into Facebook in order to get in my Canva. Sorry, guys. Oh, what a bummer. Just bear with me. I have my login set to Facebook to get into Canva. And I don't know about you guys, but Facebook recently made me enter two-factor authentication. So put that authentication code off my phone in there, and then we'll be in Canva. So we want to thank people for hitting our website. Now we could just choose a simple thank you, right? So Canva has all these like thank you things in here. You can just kind of pick one if you want, but I'm going to do something that's more branded to my business. So first off, maybe I'll upload an image of the company logo, and I already had this in here. Okay, so we happen to have a black logo. So I'll drag this here. I might set my background in Canva to be black because the logo's black. Okay, and then maybe I'll add some text. Thanks for checking your property value on our site. Like this. And I'm going to keep this very simple for purposes of demo. You know, you could spend a little bit of time making this exactly how you want it. Maybe I'll put a goofy picture of myself on there. Of course, all pictures of me are going to be goofy, so let's find one. So let me see here. Could I'm just going to grab that screenshot. So you would grab a picture of yourself, of course, over here. We'll upload. And the idea here, again, is to make a personal connection. So I definitely think getting a photo of yourself out there, if you've been running ads and you're kind of out there, you're on billboards or whatever you're doing for your business, you know, try to maybe use the same picture and the same branding, right? That everybody knows you by. There's me with some water in the background. There we go. And I'll do on my site. Okay, so this would be the image side. And then what I'll do next is I'll click Save Note Card up at the top right in Canva, and the Canva integration with thanks.io, it'll just bring it straight in. Okay. So it should be doing that in theory. There we go. So it's down there on the left side. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to build my message that I'm going to send. So there's the note card gets flipped open, and then there is a message here. So I'll choose note card for my type of message. We'll say this, thanks for checking value. And then I will do hi. We can merge in the first name. Just wanted to say a quick thank you for checking your property value. And you could do checking the property value of, and you could merge the address in on our website, on my website recently. And then I'll say, if you'd like a much more detailed report about what a buyer might pay for the property. I make my screen bigger, guys. I realize you can't see that. Then just shoot me a text at, and I can just give my cell number or something, right? Or scan the QR code now. So I could, if I really wanted to. Now let's do it. How about this? I'm going to do this. If you'd like a much more detailed report, or your buyer might pay for your property today, please scan the QR code and schedule a quick 15-minute Zoom chat with me. Let's go bold here, detailed, and we'll call it, instead of a report, opinion. Right, and then what I can do is I can put a URL in here. I have a Calendly link, so it's at ryanhartman.info/meet. So that redirects to my Calendly. Let me just double check, make sure that's working. And my Calendly is hooked up to Zoom. So that's another thing. We've done sessions in the past, guys, about this. I think this is something we should all do. We should get a Calendly account or some similar booking software, hook it up to Zoom so that our customers, you know, in the footer and our signature of everything we send out, we can offer a one-on-one camera meeting instead of going and having coffee or something in person. It's just kind of where the times are at now, and people are used to using Zoom. So now they can scan that. If I wanted to get really fancy, I could create a Calendly event that says chat about the value of your house with Ryan, right? I could create a separate event in Calendly that says that title and link to that. So I put my URL here. If I click out of this, it should show me a QR code down at the bottom here in a second. Thanks. All right. PS. All right. And I could get a little crazier. Like I do PS. If you'd like to see the best deals I know about right now in the market, or if you've ever thought about investing, whenever I'm dealing with sellers or homeowners, I like to also hit them with an offer to buy their first investment property because it's something a little more interesting than talking about selling their house. Not everybody wants to sell their house right now, right? But everybody's kind of interested in doing the HGTV flipping and buying and holding real estate and getting rich thing. So a lot of times I'll do something like PS. You're not really thinking about selling house right now, but you maybe you're interested in buying an investment property. Man, I'm really fumbling this live. It's so go to 727 Real Estate Deals and get my deals links list today. And I might word this down. If you're at all interested, PS, if you're at all interested in buying an investment property, please go to. So I'm just kind of give a little more value and another touch point. But you can see here on the right side, it's writing out my message. There's a handwritten font there. I can choose different fonts. So I can choose my shopping list font right up here. See it changes. You can also change the ink color. That's set in the main settings of thanks.io. So if you don't want black and you want blue or pink or something, you can do that. You can see this font was a little bit bigger, and it comes in a foldable card this way. And then anytime somebody scans this, I'll also get a meeting. So even if they scan, but they don't go and book the meeting, I'll be notified about who it was. I'll get an email, and I can even set up a Zapier Zap that would add a hashtag in kvCORE. You can get really sophisticated with this. And as I think this through, I might not even do, it says, if you'd like a much more detailed opinion about what a buyer might pay, please scan the QR code and schedule a quick 15-minute Zoom meeting with me. I might just do please scan the QR code now. It's kind of blind, right? They don't really know what they're scanning it for. And then my Calendly, they get there and it's like, meet with Ryan to talk about it. Well, they might say, yeah, I don't want to talk to a realtor right now. But what happened was I saw that they scanned. I'll be notified by thanks that they scanned. So I might actually leave that a little blind. Right. What's everybody think so far? I'm kind of giving the full picture. We've done this kind of topic a few times, maybe once or twice in the past year or two. But I think it's always been a little difficult because you have to go build a Zap. And building Zaps that send the address over from kvCORE, to be honest, is a little tricky. The whole thing is tricky. Erica, yeah, I'm sorry if you're new here, especially if you're new to kvCORE. These are a little bit more advanced, next level, so to speak, sessions. So we're going over and above the basic functionality of kvCORE. But just know kvCORE is amazing. Like, it integrates with everything. It can do so much in terms of talking to other platforms. And I really like what API Nation's doing. They've gone and specialized in the real estate space. So any real estate tools you're using, for example, you could do this same thing with Zillow or Realtor.com leads with API Nation, because you can go and tie those sources directly to thanks.io, for example. So yeah, this is a really good topic, and I think we're all just in modern marketing, knowing how to build automations is just a really good skill, because you can really save yourself a lot of time. Anyway, so that's my message template. So we've built a message template. We've built an image template. Not too hard, right? Easy for me, of course, because I'm a co-founder of this platform. But it wasn't. You saw it. It was just a quick Canva. We got the note card, and then we just wrote something. If you follow my kind of scripting framework on some of this, you'll do well. Just kind of copy the language, but it's pretty direct and to the point. It's not very long, and it just is giving somebody some action they can take, which was to scan the QR code to learn more about their house. It's like, if you want to know a more detailed opinion about what a buyer might pay, do this thing, right? And so we start with the thank you, and then, hey, if you want this, do this thing, and I try to sneak a little extra in the PS. All right, getting a little wordy here, but I think it's good to go over that stuff. All right, so now we've got our message template, our image template, and what we're going to do now is we're going to trigger the automation that makes this go out automatically whenever a lead lands on our mailing list. So remember, they come into kvCORE, they check their property value, and then they land on Ryan's kvCORE list in this case. That's what I called this list. So there they are sitting right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to tell thanks.io that, hey, anytime somebody lands on that list, I want to send this message in this image template, the one we just created. So I'm here in the campaign section of thanks.io. And this all kind of flows, if you guys notice, in the navigation: mailing list, message, image, campaign. You almost can go one by one through these. Create the mailing list, create the message, create the image, and now build the campaign rule. I click add a new campaign. What am I going to send? I'm going to send that note card. What's my image template? It's that one that I just created. I only have one in there. What's my message template? It's this one. And then what mailing list is this tied to? It's Ryan's kvCORE. So we're telling thanks.io, anytime somebody lands on this message, send a note card with this image and this message template. And then sending style, I just am going to send one day after adding. It basically means it's going to happen right away, but it'll go out in the mail tomorrow. Right? Our printer will get the order and they'll print it and send it out in the mail. So that's a scheduled campaign automation. And I do always talk and click through very quickly, yes. You can watch the replay in slow motion, but I've got to keep everybody entertained here. All right, so that is that. And yes, on the replay, if you need to slow it down, just watch the YouTube video at cap speed. That's just a little tip. You can click the little gear at the bottom of the YouTube. Okay, so schedule campaign, days after ad 1, send this, hit save, and hit start. So now we've just built an automation for our business where anytime somebody checks their home value, they're going to get a follow-up postcard and a letter from me. Now, what's really cool about this is I now have the ability, if I want, just like drip email, I can actually send another one a quarter from now, like 3 months from now. So if I wanted to touch anybody who checks their home value once a month, once a quarter, I could add another message in a note card and build another campaign role, and it'll just drip through, right? So it'll just drip like an email, drip email campaign. The other thing you can do here, now that all your addresses are flowing in kvCORE, if you ever want to do a one-time promotion to all these homeowners you have on your list, you can just come in and do that. So you can say, all right, I want to let all my homeowners know that are on my list. It's January 30th. Listing season's coming around again. I want to let them all know that I'm here for them if they're thinking about selling their house. So you can just come in next January, right around listing season, and just send everybody a postcard really quickly, right? So you just kind of do what I just did. In that case, I would probably click the red send now button. I would design my postcard and letter, whatever it is. Just show you, you can use this wizard and write a quick message, and then you can choose to send it to that specific list. I could also, right now, this might be an interesting message to write. Let's do it. Let's write a letter. I'll just pick a simple white design here. Letter I might send right now is, hi, if you're like a lot, or just do hi. You've probably noticed that interest rates are going up. Stock market is slumping. And in general, the real estate market is starting to show signs of slowing down. A few months ago, every property we put on the market had multiple offers, usually for over asking price. The market is still a seller's market, right? I don't know if you would agree or not, but I'm just saying this might be something that I think, right? But you could do something similar. Still a seller's market, but things seem to be cooling down a bit. And a lot of my clients, my pests, a lot of people I know, are starting to consider selling their houses while we might be at the top of the market. If you're thinking the same way, and if you're thinking the same way and think you might want to sell your house before the market comes down too far, please give me a call at the number. You can also scan the QR code on this letter to get a computerized estimate of your property's value today. All right, now just do Ryan Hartman, wherever, Florida real estate. I'll revise this later. P.S. If you do scan the code, it probably won't be as accurate of a value as I can give you if I, in person. So just give me a quick call or text if you'd like a more human opinion of value. All right, I'm doing this kind of ad-libbing. It's always tough on these webinars to make this up as I go with you guys all watching, but that's kind of the spirit of it. So, you're building up this list of people with addresses, and then you have this ability to say, okay, well, I'm seeing some shifts in the market, and I have some kind of angle reason why somebody might really want to sell right now. I mean, if you do believe that we're looking at a recession or a slowdown, it could be good advice to give somebody to sell. And in fact, I showed you that listing. I listed my brother's property last week. I mean, that's exactly what we're doing, to be totally honest. He feels like he's got a lot of equity. He's done really well with the property and has lived through this before, in 2008, 2009, and is thinking, yeah, why not? I'll go rent for a few years or do something else. And I think a lot of people are thinking like this, and sending something very personal feeling like this with the handwriting, it could be a good approach. I mean, if I send this to 100 people, do you think I'll get 1 or 2? Right? Very, very possible. So just kind of showing you guys just an example, and there's many examples. I could send a letter I can send a letter or postcard in 2 months again, and I can say, hey, just want to let you know, I've got this great investment property for sale. It could be anything, right? Or it could just be, hey, Merry Christmas, right? Just to build a little goodwill. Lots of ways to use this. So in this case, I would click Save and Continue, and you'll see here I can pick existing lists, and I would just pick my kvCORE list and send it to those people directly through the system. So that's my little demo. Again, though, where we started was this idea that you can bridge kvCORE directly to third-party softwares. In particular, in this case, thanks.io can be bridged over via API Nation, which is a time saver. You don't have to build complicated zaps. Anytime somebody checks their home value, you can have it flow in there automatically. And I will say, not that I want to, I think you guys should try to do this on your own. The API Nation team is pretty good about supporting and helping with this stuff. And the thanks.io team will also help you out, if you need any help with any of this implementation on both sides. So feel free to kind of leverage those support teams for this. So any questions, guys? I'm going to take a look at Facebook. We were streaming to Facebook. I don't see any comments or questions over there. Yeah, but just keep in mind, kvCORE plays well with everything. Well, I wouldn't say everything, but they play well with a whole lot of stuff. API Nation, to plug them, they happen to have built bridges to a lot of the other stuff that you would probably want to bridge kvCORE to, so definitely check them out. And this is saying, how would you use this for buyers? So to generate buyers or to thank buyers, in a lot of cases, you're not going to have an address, right, for buyers. But so you need an address to get it into thanks. But if I was going to use direct mail to generate buyer leads, I have a number of ideas there. The first of which, my two favorites are going to be renters. So yeah, you could mail a monthly newsletter for sure. I like to go a little more direct response kind of, meaning like a direct offer. So newsletter's cool if you include some offers on it. And you can send multi-page letters with thanks.io. But my favorite 2 angles for prospecting and getting new buyers would be to get a list of renters, a mailing list of renters. So I can actually come in here and click mailing lists, add list, purchase custom list. And I can come individuals, and you can actually come in here and choose homeowner or renter. So I could send a postcard that's like, hey, stop paying your landlord's mortgage. Isn't it time for you to buy your own house? Or something like, scan the QR code to learn more about how to get down payment assistance. A lot of areas have this. We actually have a great program locally that I wasn't even fully aware of, right? So you could you think about the target audience, in this case renters, and tell them to scan to learn more about how to get down payment assistance. That'd be one good way to get buyers. My other way to maybe to go a little higher end and bougie with it would be businesses. So I would actually build a mailing list of businesses and then in my area, and you could offer either a list of investment properties, right? Say, hey, you know, I specialize in working with other entrepreneurs who are looking to build real estate portfolios. Remember, you're mailing to somebody who already owns a business. They're, of course, they're entrepreneurs. You know, scan the QR code now to see a current list of my favorite investment deals right now. So that could be a really good way. And of course, for my money, that's probably going to generate you a little less stressful of a transaction than going the renter route. How do I say that nicely? But if you love working with starter homes and first-time buyers, then definitely mail to renters, right? You can also split up and sort people by other demographic categories, things that Facebook, for example, won't let you do anymore. So I can do based on if somebody's married, their gender. They've even got political affiliation in here, interests and hobbies, you know, their estimated home value and things like that. So yeah, lots of ways to get buyers. But yeah, I would probably start with renters, the renter side of things. Pet owners is interesting. So send a mailing. Say you specialized and send a list of properties near the coolest dog park. Tired of, you know, send it to one neighborhood where there are no dog parks and say, hey, ever thought about moving? And I'll tell you, as a pet owner myself who walks the dogs twice a day, I wouldn't mind living closer to a dog park. So you could send a letter, very personal. Hey, have you ever thought about moving over to XYZ neighborhood? They've got that great dog park over there. I'd put together a list of condos, just cool angles like that. You know, you can do all day with in our industry here. So cool, that's kind of what I have for today, guys. Did you guys have anything related to kvCORE, real estate marketing in general that you'd like to talk about? I'm here for a little while longer. You can go grab a free Thanks.io account. If you don't have one already, you just click it from it in the marketplace. We load up your account with $10 in credits. So you can go in there, send yourself a card, you know, test out the quality, all that stuff if you want. And then, like I said, I'm sure API Nation, the guys over there will help you. If you run into any snags with the integration, I don't think you will. And then on the Thanks side, we do offer for people who subscribe to the business plan, we can help you build out some of these campaigns. Cool. Well, if there's nothing else, guys, we can call it a day. I'll be back tomorrow. Not sure what the topic will be. Oh, I'll probably share a little bit about the video ad that I did for my brother's property. I've generated 2 cell numbers. So I was going to show it to you real quick. But basically, I made a very hacky video walk through the property, but I put a kvCORE text number over the top of it. So I'll share this with you guys now. And I'm running a ad at it. So I dropped it into YouTube, and I'm showing this video in stream for the list. I'm getting this ad out of the way. So I walk through, and you can see text 2926. So 2 people have texted, and one of them I had a little back and forth with about the property. It's pretty cool. So I'm running this as a YouTube ad in stream, and then a couple of people have texted, and a lot of them have clicked over to the site. So I've generated a few leads that way, you know, email leads off of kvCORE. So I'll probably talk about this tomorrow a little bit, like how this was implemented. And yeah, that's it. So thanks a lot for being here, guys. We'll be back tomorrow. It will be 2 p.m. East, not 4 o'clock. Sorry about the switch today, but we'll be back at our regular time tomorrow. All right, have a great day. Where'd my Zoom thing go? Turn this off.